Pause the simulation at the start to not drain your budget early on. Water pumps must be placed upstream, whereas sewage drains must be placed downstream with space between the two. Otherwise, you'll pump sewage back into your city, and nobody wants that. The blue bubble that electricity creates acts as a power transmitter. The default budget is set to 100%. Early on, you do not need that much. Lower it, and as your city grows, raise it again. The perfect overlay for water pipes is at 460 costs. That way you can save money in the long run. Since your citizens will shop in commercial areas and industry delivers to commercial areas, it is best to zone commercial areas between residential and industrial. You can choose left-hand drive traffic when starting a city. Right-hand drive is set as the default. This cannot be changed in an existing city. It is best to separate pollution-heavy industry from your residential areas. Don't expand your city too quick when starting. That can rapidly drain your budget. Grids work. Even if you think they are boring, they can help services and citizens move around extremely quickly. More lanes will not necessarily make your traffic better. Have multiple connections to the busiest areas of your city for your citizens to use. When up or downgrading roads, you may need to relocate or delete ploppable buildings. Building on pedestrian streets require a pedestrian area with service points. Implementing road hierarchy in your city is crucial. It should always be highways, arterial roads, collector roads, and local roads. Unlock more roads by drawing a small segment of road at the start. Delete unused segments of roads to get a partial refund. The blue line that appears when drawing a road appears at 5 units. That's how you can do more exact measurements of your road layouts. For perfect corners, go out and up or down by the same amount of units. So draw, lock in, and go up or down. Don't want this sharp 90-degree turn? Simply delete that segment and use the curved road tool instead. One-way roads will be in the direction you draw them. Switch directions later by using the upgrade tool. Build bridges and tunnels with page up and page down. Just be cautious, bridges and tunnels are very expensive. The smoothest slope you can have is with a length of 12 units. Keep that in mind when building bridges or even tunnels. You can toggle traffic lights here. Info views, traffic routes, junctions. Very useful to help with traffic flow, and it works on console too. Use the traffic routes info view to determine where the busiest areas of your city are. Red areas in the traffic info view don't necessarily mean there is a big problem or congestion. It just means that that is an area with high traffic volume. Trees can act as sound barriers, whether it's a tree-lined road or a bunch of trees between areas. Tree replacement on roads is available since the update which came with the airport's DLC. Dedicated turning lanes work wonders for your traffic situation. To relieve a considerable burden from your city's roads, implement walking paths wherever you can. You can use the zoo fence as highway barrier walls. I love to do that in my cities. Citizens will always take the fastest legal route available. This will not always be the shortest route, as the simulation calculates that the citizen can drive the top speed on every road without taking other traffic into account. A citizen's journey is pre-planned before it starts. This means a newly built road may not see use immediately. It's always good to separate your industry traffic from your residential traffic. The last thing you want is for your cargo deliveries to drive through your living areas. Use the heavy traffic ban policy in certain areas to ban all truck traffic in that area. Roads with decorations will stop citizens from parking on them. Smaller roundabouts make cars slow down more, so if you're in need of a strategic roundabout, make it bigger. If you have super steep hills, you can always choose to kinda snake your roads up these hills instead of simply going up in a straight line. Looks much better. If you run out of ideas for your road design, let the map do the work. Follow the contour lines when drawing your roads. Buses can be inexpensive and effective. However, too many buses overlapping can cause traffic issues in your city. Public transportation stops act as a service and provide a happiness boost. The longer the lines you draw for public transportation, the more vehicles will spawn for that line. Plan express routes for your public transportation. These should be routes with very little stops. Public transport lines are most effective running through all types of zones. Commercial areas have the highest demand for public transportation, specialized commercial even more. Public transport lines can be highly overloaded. To counter this, try adding vehicles with higher capacities than the default ones. If that doesn't do the trick, add other forms of public transportation which complements the existing ones. Passenger trains are not really useful for the transport within your city, but are useful for bringing in tourists. Cargo trains in your industrial area can help alleviate some of the industrial traffic. However, a very good road system is needed for the cargo station, since every time a train arrives, a whole bunch of trucks spawn in. Railways can get congested just like roads. Try to separate cargo and passenger trains for a better flow. Public transport is the GOAT when it comes to alleviating the pressure off of your roads. Connecting multiple forms of public transport is literally OP in city skylines. Citizens may take a bus to the metro, then take the metro to their workplace. The metro is the best form of public transportation in city skylines. Even though it is quite expensive, it can carry a lot of passengers over great distances in a short amount of time. Some of the early milestones grant you a cash boost. Once unlocked, set your taxes to 12%. It's the sweet spot to get a good amount of money and keep your citizens happy. The stock exchange building from the Financial District's mini expansion provides a tax bonus of 2 to 6% from any financial offices within its area of effect. Rake in some cash by maxing the taxes for a short amount of time. Citizens will complain before actually moving out, so you have time. Tourism can be a good way for you to earn a bit of tax income. However, if it isn't managed correctly, it can cause traffic problems. Tourists have 3 different wealth levels, which are low, medium, and high. Depending on that level, a tourist will stay either longer or shorter and spend more or less money in your city. Use the policies Big Business Benefactor and Small Business Enthusiasts on high and low density commercial for extra cash through higher sales. Choose the building orientation with moving slightly in the direction you want to place the building. If you set the budget on any service to 101%, that service will send out 1 extra vehicle. A service vehicle can travel across the entire map if needed. The coverage bars only indicate the service's range on factors like effectiveness on land value and happiness in that area. Services need roads to go where they are needed. If there is heavy traffic congestion, service vehicles will just despawn, not servicing the needed location. Landfills and cemetery can only be relocated when empty. Landfills and cemeteries can be emptied in other facilities like incineration plants and crematoriums. Parks and services increase land value, helping buildings to level up. Don't plop newly unlocked services instantly. Save money because the game will actually tell you when the services are needed. Relocating a service building is always cheaper than demolishing it and placing a new one. Citizen happiness is key to running a successful city. It is primarily achieved by offering all required services. Don't forget to decorate with rocks, trees, foliage to spice up the areas in your city. Turn off the snapping for fences and you can place them in the tightest spaces between parks and buildings. Once unlocked, you can use park props anywhere in your city to beautify. If you're sick of looking at these rough edges, try decorating them a bit. Much better. For a more diverse city look, create a district and add a specialization. After zoning, a variation of houses will spawn. Keep in mind that every specialization has up and down sides. The self-sufficient buildings, for instance, although they consume less electricity and produce less garbage, they also generate less income for your city. Office and commercial can be used as a buffer for pollution, both ground and noise. They won't get sick, just lose a bit of happiness. Policies can either be set citywide or only for certain districts. Citizens will walk great distances to their destination if your city is laid out for walking. Connect dead-end roads with walking paths to make it easier for your citizens to get across. Parks do not degrade over time, but if they're maintained by park maintenance, they will get a temporary boost in effectiveness. After reaching a milestone, your game speed is set to 1. Even if you had it on 3-speed previously, that helps you figure out what to do next. It always helps me. Counter the dreaded death waves by building the Elder Care Center. It increases the lifespan of seniors within the building radius, stretching the age they have. You can also counter these death waves by simply not zoning too much residential at once. The natural resources depots can be seen on the map in the Natural Resources info view. Forests for forestry and fertile land for farming are the only resources that renew themselves. Placing trees over fertile land will replace the fertile land with forestry. The fertile land will be removed permanently. There is an option before you start a city to have unlimited oil and ore on your map. You can sell and buy soil for all your landscaping needs. Chirpy can be helpful in finding issues in your city. As it acts as the in-game social media network, citizens will complain about anything off through that chirper. Don't underestimate some of the info views. Check them to find out if your city has any needs you might not see on a surface level. There are 2 ways to remove zonable areas on roads. First, by simply using a fence, and second, by selecting the toggle zoning option. Always save before terraforming near water. One mistake can literally drown your entire work. Every job in the city will be assigned an education level, and businesses will eventually move out if they cannot get workers with the needed education. Industry, commerce, and office buildings will only be able to level up if they can employ sufficiently educated workers. If you have the After Dark DLC enabled, the tourism specialization can help boost tourism. When you want to do some terraforming work, I would suggest to add a road as sort of a guideline. The road will act as a wall, holding the terrain in place for you. Don't ignore abandoned buildings. They can cause unhappiness for citizens, which in turn will move out, causing even more abandoned buildings. If you want to use water towers for your city's water supply, be sure to not place them too close to your industry. Otherwise, your drinking water will be polluted and make your citizens sick. Your citizens' happiness has an effect on how much money they spend, employment, and the crime rate, so keep them happy and have a thriving city. Office zones do not produce any pollution and thus are very good acting as a barrier between residential and industry. The IT cluster office specialization produces digital goods for commercial zones. These goods do not use any trucks to deliver. Raising the budget slider for parks and plazas causes the entertainment impact of your parks and plazas to rise.